Some people disappear without drama. No goodbye, no explanation, just time stretching quietly between moments of contact. At first it can feel confusing. Weeks pass. Messages remain unanswered. Yet the absence does not feel hostile. It feels heavy, thoughtful, almost tender in its distance. For the one who disappears, silence is not emptiness, it is relief. A slowing of the inner world after too much noise, too many expectations. Too many versions of themselves being held at once. Connection, while meaningful, can feel demanding. Each interaction asks for presence, emotion, coherence. When energy runs thin, retreat becomes instinctive. Not away from people, but away from pressure. This pattern often forms quietly. In lives where space was the only safe place to feel, where stepping back meant staying intact, where disappearing was the only way to breathe without explanation. Weeks pass because returning feels louder than leaving, because reappearing requires language for something wordless. So they vanish into time, not to escape care but to preserve it. Holding themselves together in the quiet, waiting until the world feels gentle enough again. The habit of disappearing is rarely random. It is shaped by how the nervous system learned to survive closeness. When early environments were emotionally unpredictable, withdrawal became regulation. Distance meant safety. Silence meant control. Psychologically, this pattern often links to heightened sensitivity. The mind processes deeply, tracking tone, mood, and unspoken expectation. Social contact becomes stimulating quickly, not because it lacks desire, but because it carries weight. Neuroscience explains part of this retreat. Prolonged interaction elevates stress responses in sensitive systems. Cortisol rises, mental clarity blurs. Stepping away reduces input, allowing equilibrium to return. The relief feels immediate, reinforcing the behavior. Yet disappearance is not emotional detachment. It coexists with longing. Thoughts of others remain present during absence. Messages are drafted mentally, never sent. Connection is felt, just held at a distance. Inside, there is conflict. The need for solitude battles the need for belonging. Vanishing becomes compromise, a way to preserve connection without overstimulation. From the outside, it appears careless. Inside, it feels necessary. A learned rhythm between engagement and retreat, shaped not by avoidance, but by an intense need to remain whole while relating to the world. Eventually, the cost of disappearing becomes visible, not as guilt, but as quiet longing. The realization that safety built only from distance begins to feel incomplete. That protection, when extended too long, slowly becomes isolation. Inside, resistance softens. The nervous system starts to sense that presence does not always mean overwhelm. That connection can exist without constant performance. That returning does not require justification for absence. This is the turning point. Not a dramatic shift, but a subtle reorientation. Silence is no longer the only refuge. It becomes one option among many. Integration follows gently, pauses shorten, disappearances become intentional rather than automatic. Communication finds a rhythm that honors both solitude and closeness. The self no longer vanishes to stay safe. In this balance, healing does not erase sensitivity. It teaches discernment, when to step back, when to stay. When space nourishes and when it distances too far, the story closes softly, with trust. That presence can be gentle. That absence does not have to be total to be restorative. That connection, when paced with care, does not consume. It coexists. Distance protects, but presence teaches what safety can become. Let this understanding rest with you without forcing resolution.